Have you ever encountered these hulking, violent brutes in the desolate wastelands of Fallout and wondered to yourself, where do all these supermutants come from? Because despite all looking big and ugly, they're not all the same. There are actually 4 unique origins for supermutants found throughout the wastes, each producing their own unique subspecies. So join me today, friends, as we dive into the origins and subspecies of Fallout's dreaded supermutants. So picture this, you're a lone wanderer traversing the irradiated landscapes of post-apocalyptic America. Suddenly, you're abducted by an unknown assailant, determined to turn you into one of the many different supermutant subspecies, and the type of supermutant you end up becoming will really depend on where you were when you were captured. If you were captured out west, the setting for the first 2 Fallout games and Fallout New Vegas, you'd become one of the supermutants that were the product of the Forced Evolutionary Virus, or FEV, at the Mariposa military base. The Master, the leader of these supermutants, dreamt of a new world order where supermutants would supplant humans as the dominant species. His army, known as Unity, had plans to conquer the wasteland and bring about a new era of peace and prosperity. They intended to achieve this by using vats of FEV to mutate those deemed worthy and sterilize those who resisted. Despite their grand plans, they were ultimately thwarted by the Vault Dweller, who destroyed the Mariposa military base and eliminated the Master. However, not all of these supermutants were hostile. They exhibited a range of attitudes, particularly towards the Master's grand plan. The supermutants from Mariposa military base were generally intelligent and social creatures. They varied in size and shape, but all shared a greenish hue and a hulking physique. Their mentality was largely shaped by the Master's vision of a new world order, with many of them fervently believing in the cause and willing to fight for it. Yet their attitudes were not uniform, with some displaying hostility towards humans, whilst others were more peaceful and open to coexistence. Among these supermutants, the Nightkin stood out as a unique and particularly powerful variant. Larger, stronger, and more intelligent than regular supermutants, they were the Master's elite troops, deployed for the most critical and dangerous of missions. The Nightkin would eventually come to be distinguished from their brethren by their blue skin, a result of prolonged Stealth Boy usage. The Nightkin's relationship with Stealth Boys, devices that rendered a user almost invisible, was both beneficial and damaging. Initially, these devices were given to them for covert missions, but over time they developed a psychological dependency on them. This prolonged use led to various mental illnesses amongst the Nightkin, including schizophrenia and paranoia, adding another layer of complexity to their character. Now, if you were captured out in the capital wasteland of Fallout 3, you will likely be joining a different breed of supermutants. These creatures were created in Vault 87, where the original inhabitants were exposed individually to a different airborne strain of the FEV. Unlike their Mariposa counterparts, these supermutants are less intelligent and much more aggressive, a byproduct of the faulty strain of FEV used to create them. Almost all of them are hostile, borderline feral, and completely asexual. Their physical appearance is similar to the Mariposa supermutants, but they appear more yellow in hue, and never seem to stop growing, resulting in ancient gigantic mutants called behemoths. Their mentality and behaviour is largely shaped by their aggression, regularly kidnapping settlers and exposing them to the shrinking supply of FEV in an attempt to repopulate their numbers. If you were captured further along the west coast in Boston, well then the kidnappers turning you into one of these things won't be another supermutant. No, they'll be one of the scientists of the Institute, a secretive organisation with advanced technology, and they'll have exposed you to their own unique strain of FEV as part of their cruel experiments designed to generate more lifelike synthetic humans. And once the scientists are done transforming you into your new form, they'll just dump you out into the Commonwealth, ready to wreak havoc on the surface world. This subspecies of mutants consider themselves to be both superior to humans and as victims of human cruelty, seeing violence towards humans as a form of retribution. They're commonly accompanied by other FEV creatures such as mutant hounds and their own towering behemoths. Interestingly, this FEV transformation seems to be reversible, as the Institute scientist Brian Virgil is the first to successfully create a serum that recreated his original human DNA, whilst overwriting the FEV present in his system. These supermutants created by the Institute are somewhat intelligent, forming unique tribes, constructing bases, laying traps, and representing a variety of mostly hostile attitudes. They are physically similar to these supermutants from previous games, but they are somewhat smaller, around 7 feet tall, with a washed out colour and scrawnier muscle mass. And finally, if you were to undergo your transformation in Appalachia, the setting for Fallout 76, you join a group of supermutants whose creation process was started before the bombs of the Great War even fell, when the Westech Corporation released their FEV strain from a local facility into nearby water supplies as part of their horrific experiments. The supermutants of this region are widespread, violent, and hostile. They are similar in both behaviour and appearance to the scrawnier supermutants from the Commonwealth, grouping together to form basic fortifications and hunt out humans both as a source of food and as a means to repopulate. They are accompanied by similar mutated hounds and floaters, as well as behemoths who also make a return. Supermutants are often seen as mere monsters, but they have a complex and tragic origin story that spans and changes across the Fallout series, not choosing their fate, instead having it thrust upon them by a culture of reckless, scientific experimentation that created the very world of Fallout to begin with. Which subspecies would you choose to morph into? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the lore of Fallout, make sure to subscribe and get your passports to your favourite fantasy and sci-fi worlds. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.